We're all familiar with basic numeric data types in programming languages. The most commonly used are integer and floating point data types. In the languages most closely related to C, which includes Java, types are explicitly declared, as with int, a 32-bit integer, and double, a 64-bit floating point number. Integers are represented in binary using 2's complement representation, which means that integer overflow will cause an addition to the largest possible value to actually wrap around to the most negative value. The particular max value depends on the number of bits being used in the representation. In the case of Java's integer, it's 32 bits. Some languages, like C, specifically allow a number to be defined as unsigned. This means that only non-negative values are allowed. This makes the maximum positive value that can be represented roughly twice as large. However, overflow can still occur. It simply leads back to 0 now. Here is the maximum unsigned int that can fit in 32 bits, and we added 1 to that, and the result is now 0. This sort of overflow does not occur in certain languages, though. For example, Lisp lets me add 1 to the largest 32-bit unsigned integer. In fact, Lisp handles unbounded integer types quite well. Python also has no problem adding 1 to the largest unsigned 32-bit integer, and in general can handle arbitrarily large integer types like so. In these languages, something more complicated is going on behind the scenes to handle this sort of representation. But from the perspective of the language user, we simply have access to integers of arbitrary size. Floating point values also have representational limitations. Float is 32 bits and double is 64 bits, and these restrictions affect both the range and precision of these values. The fact that floating point numbers are stored in binary also leads to representational problems, because some simple fractions, like these, have infinite representations in binary. When these infinite representations are rounded and displayed to the user, you get weird results like this. Python also has this problem. But Common Lisp does not. We get the correct result of 0.3. Interestingly, this sort of floating point rounding error can actually depend on the specific implementation of a language. Here we have Hugs, an old, now obsolete implementation of the Haskell programming language. When I add these numbers together, I get the correct result of 0.3. However, when I use the Glasgow Haskell compiler, which is a more recent implementation of Haskell, adding these numbers results in the same floating point error that we've seen before. Even in languages that don't have problems representing unusual binary fractions, there is still a problem when very large and very small numbers interact. In particular, if we have a large number and we add a small number to it, then the impact of the small number is going to be washed away. This number is the same as if we had added 0 to the original value. So we have a precision issue. This 0.1 is too small to be part of the floating point representation of this very large number here. But how can we accurately handle decimal value interactions in a limited range? in some of those interpreted languages we saw, there's some fairly complex stuff going on behind the scenes. But there is a fairly straightforward way to have decimal interactions using a format known as binary coded decimal. Here's an example using a COBOL program. In this COBOL program, we're explicitly defining the types of the variables in1, in2, and in3 to consist of 3 decimal digits, then a decimal point, and then 1 decimal digit. This means that as long as we are dealing with values that have exactly one and only one value after the decimal point, we will get accurate results. Incidentally, we are also only allowed to have up to 3 values before the decimal point. Notice that when we define in1 is 0.1 and in2 is 0.2, add them together, and then print out the result, which is stored in in3, the result is 000.3, because that matches the definition of these types saved here. Of course, if we define our range of possible values wrong, we can get a loss of precision even with this format, as in this example. We have 0.5, we're dividing it by 2. The answer should be 0.25, but in3 can only store one value after the decimal point. Therefore, our answer is 000.2. It's also worth noting that the binary coded decimal representation of numbers is inefficient in comparison with floating point because it wastes bits in the representation. However, in terms of inefficiency, nothing beats boolean values. A boolean type can only have a value of true or false, but typically uses at least 8 bits, if not more. This is because 8 bits is generally the smallest addressable memory size in any machine. Now, this is not usually an issue unless you're using a language like C, which has unchecked type conversions. In fact, C doesn't even have a Boolean type. It just uses integer values that it treats like Booleans inside of its conditional statements and loop constructs. But that can lead to some weird issues, like the following. In C, you can say this. Can you spot the error? What'll happen if I run this code? Let's see. So this output claims that x is 7, but I actually initialized x to 5. Why did this happen? Well, I didn't actually ask if x is 7. I assigned a value of 7 to x. Because x is now equal to 7, that value is non-zero, which when evaluated as a Boolean is true, which means we enter the if statement and print that output. The code that was probably intended was this. If we compile and run this code, we will get no output because we will not enter that if statement. Bugs like that one are the reason that languages such as Java and C# explicitly require the expression inside of an if statement to be a Boolean. It prevents you from accidentally doing an assignment when you meant to do an equality check. The last primitive type I'll mention are characters. Characters are stored as binary values which correspond to letters or other characters in the Unicode table, which is an extension of ASCII. But this means that characters are really just integers, as we can see with this example, where we assign the character A to a character variable, print it out, but then we assign that same variable to an integer variable x and print it out, and the result we get is 65, which is the ASCII/Unicode value of capital A. We'll talk about more complex data types in some upcoming videos.